What's going on YouTube? It's Dagreenshiz here, back again. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. I recently did a big consignment through Whatnot, approximately 111 cards. There were some goods.
Let's keep it going, chat. 56. Is Michael out there it for the 56? 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Some bads.
And just take down from there. A 5 sold for 350.
And some really good stuff that happened. We're going to jump into it on the spreadsheet I'm about to show you. Of course, I got to show you the goods and the bads and the great stuff. So let's jump right into the spreadsheet, shall we? Now, as you're going to see in front of you, basically I had made this spreadsheet before I submitted everything to Whatnot. The spreadsheet is 111 items, and I pretty much have it sorted by different sets right now. So right now it's sorted by base, black star, promo, cross. It's basically every different set I was sending. And we'll get into some of the nitty gritty on this. I don't want the video to be too long, but it is what it is. So I'd say almost 50% of the cards were Japanese. As you can see, a lot of Gym 1, some Jungle Japanese, and a handful of no symbols here. There is a lot of variety, primarily vintage. There is some modern, a couple of Rayquaza, or not Rayquaza, Kyogre, Amazing Rares, and some other cards as well. We'll get into it a little bit deeper, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to unhide my sale column to show the prices and kind of jump deep dive. So right now, you can see on the screen my price. So this column H right here, I have it highlighted. This was the price I basically had assigned to each card that I was going to consign. This is the price I originally wanted to attain when I went to Collecticon. These obviously didn't sell. I sold a bunch, but I didn't sell everything. Not to say my prices were bad. Some of these could be bad. You let me know if you think some of these prices are really bad for what I thought I was going to try and get. So now, when I unhide these columns, let's do it right here. Now, you're going to see the sale price right next to my price, and then you're going to see a different color on the far right. The color on the far right is the percentage in which I attained of what my asking essentially was. These are all $1 auctions. Every single one of these started at $1 and ran, I think it was like a 15-second or a 30-second auction. The entire stream was about 3 hours if you watched it. So basically what you see here, so this line right here I have highlighted. This line right here sold for at 135%. So basically 35% above the price I thought I was going to get, which is really good. So this sold at auction for $27. I had the card priced at Collecticon for $20. That's amazing. As you can see right below it, a card sold at 46%. This was a first edition Zapdos. First edition base set Zapdos sold for $91. I get it. It is a CGC 3.5. But in my life, since I've been in the hobby, I've not seen a first edition base set card in any condition besides Machamp sell for under $100. So this hurt my soul. Everybody knows I love Zapdos, and this completely wrecked me. And then we also have the yellow. So basically anything red is below a 60%. Anything green is above a 90%. And then the yellows is in between 60 and 90%. Now, let's see some of the numbers, shall we? And also, there's a few purples. I ended up doing 3 giveaways, which was like $110 worth of cards. A Skarmory, a Rainbow Energy, and Electrode. So these 3 cards ended up being given away to the people in the stream. Averaged probably about 100 people, or 80 to 100 people the entire time. For me, that was solid. This was all done through Mintley. Shout out to him. Dude's awesome. Could sell ice to an Eskimo, which is why I went with him. Awesome, awesome dude. Easy to deal with. So, bottom line, my entire listing, my list price, essentially my list price, I was hoping to get about 5 grand at the hammer. That's before fees. It ended up coming to about $4,300, 84% of my goal. Not too bad for dollar auctions. This was a huge learning curve for myself, and we're going to get into the cards I would never submit again, the cards I would try and send a lot more of, stuff like that. So basically, after 20% fees, I'm walking away with almost $3,500. Not too bad for almost zero effort. Consigning is really easy, extremely easy. It gets no easier to sell your stuff. Shout out Echo Based Collectibles, Old School Pokemon, everybody I know. Everybody I know is doing consignments pretty much. So there's consignments for every Z&G Emporium's consigning through eBay auctions. Catch 'em All Collectibles doing buy it nows through eBay auction or eBay buy it nows. Old School Pokemon's doing some whatnot stuff, and he also does consignments as well through auctions on eBay. Echo Base is also doing auctions on whatnot. Shout out all those guys; they're legends. Now let's get into where I filtered this out a little bit. So let me do this first. Let me just show you this. When I filter the my price high to low. So if I filter what my asking price was, my estimated sale price was, high to low, you see right off the bat, it is a bunch of yellow and red. Not too good looking. So basically all the higher end items got slapped. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So $3,500 in total profit after everything sold. Well, not profit because there's obviously money into it for 111 cards. What I have here, so this is another tab. This is the good sales. So only the items that were 90% and above. And I have it filtered from the top down. So essentially this very top item, you can't see the percentage. But this item right here, a Gyarados Top Sun PSA 5, sold for $56 when I estimated it and had it at CollectCon for only $25. That's a 224%. 224, that's the highest percentage I yielded. Right below that, Stormfront Gyarados CGC 8, $20 list price at CollectCon, and it sold for literally double at $40. There were a lot of these random cards that sold very well. The two below that, my babies. Kyogre from Shining Fates, English Amazing Rares, a 9.5 and a 9. The 9.5 sold for 26, which I think is right around a PSA 10 price, if I'm not mistaken. 173%. And then also the CGC 9. I was giving these CGC 9s away at CollectCon. This sold for $17. That's insane. Literally 170%. Go down here, scroll a little bit. So, gonna show you the average grade of all of these good sales was an 8.5. PSA or CGC, it don't really matter. There was a decent mixture. I'd say probably of everything, 90% CGC. There was some PSA. As you saw, the Top Sun card was PSA. But basically, my list price, the price I wanted for all these good card sales, was $42 on average. $42. That's, I mean, the average price of this, it's decently low, I would say. And I almost attained, I got over 100% on average, as you can see here. So the average sale price through Whatnot was $48. That is exceptional. A thing to note here, only 14 of these 48 cards that sold here, so this is almost 50% of the entire auction. 14 of them were Japanese. Keep that noted. Only 14. Let's go over to the yellow section. So these are the 60% to the 90% of my asking price, how much they sold for. Again, I have it filtered from pretty much the worst to the highest. And just to show you how everything is just, it's so mixed up. So you got a couple of Japanese cards, a bunch of English cards. It is really intertwined here, and I'll show you here. So 24 of the 40 cards were Japanese. So actually 60% in this auction. And a thing you're going to notice here. So the biggest trend line you're going to see is that now the average list price of these okay sales is $48 versus the good sales at $42. So the average list price essentially went up. So the average price I thought these cards would sell. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it, but I'm just going to keep reiterating it so that you know what I'm talking about. The average sale price was $37 less. That's $11 less than the good sales. So these cards had a higher price tag in my brain, but they sold on average of $11 less. That's atrocious. These are still okay sales because what we're about to look at is really bad. Really bad. So this is also a decent quantity of cards. Let's take a look at the whole number. So the other one was 48 of the 111. This is 40. So I guess the really bad sales isn't a huge number, but we're going to show it right now. Basically, also, the average grade here is similar. It's an 8.6. The good sales was an 8.5. So this isn't really telling me much of anything. Let's look at the bad sales. So the bad sales I can kind of capture right here on one screen. I don't even got to scroll. The biggest factor, the average list price. So the expensive cards sold like dog bleep, selling for an average of only $36, which is less than these cards, where the average price I had listed was $32 less. This is where you're losing money at whatnot. You don't want to auction high dollar items. Stuff averaging, I'd say, even like the sweet spot is for me going forward would be less than $50 for sure. I would not want to be getting into some of this higher end stuff. Countless times I saw some no symbols. Like I had no symbols in the green section, and then I have two of them here just in the red, really bad, $31, and that's like almost half of what almost a similar card sold earlier in the auction. They weren't all bunched together, probably unfortunate. But yeah, the biggest thing here, the biggest takeaway for me is don't sell higher, more expensive stuff. These are all vintage cards. There was the one Leroy Jenkins card I threw in as a gimmick, so I could probably delete that one. That was probably the least, the least profitable card I had in there. Only at 40%, which is pretty bad. But we had like Japanese base set, so this was probably a little high of a price. 1996 Chansey base set, $90 list price. I'd say it's a little high because the PSA 9 is probably about $90. This is an 8.5 CDC, sold for $36. Not the best outing, but I've seen worse. Some of the other prices. So I sold two first edition base set cards, a Ninetales and a Zapdos, both selling for $94 and $91. They were 3.5s at CDC, which is a beat condition, but they would sell for more than likely for those binder collectors. So that definitely would have been a play. I wish I would have just kept them to go into my binder or something, because that was painful. And right after these sold for $90, let me tell you, let's see if it's on here. Where is it at? I gotta pull it up. I didn't even look for it yet. My boy Machamp, first edition base set Shadowless, sold for $62 in a CGC 6. Shadowless Machamp almost sold for the same price as the Ninetales and the Zapdos. It sold for $62. My estimated price was $40 because it was a 6. No way that sold really well. That's probably a $25 card. Literally, I think 40's high on that, but $62 was really good on that Machamp. So that made up for some of my losses on that card. But as you saw in the beginning, I did not make a killing on this by any means. So with 111 cards, what is it? So I made $3,500 divided by 111. $32 a slap. Not that amazing. It's an extremely easy way to liquidate things extremely fast. So you're able to turn this stuff into cash in the matter of minutes. You don't got to wait a week. That's nice. If I sold these on eBay, I probably could have yielded more money if I had to guess. Um, that would be my guess. I feel like if you threw these into a 7-day auction on eBay through Z&G or old school Pokemon, these would probably yield a little bit better results. If you, that would be my suggestion. Unless you want to turn something extremely quick, this would be a much simpler option because I sent them on like a Thursday, and like the next Tuesday we were running the auction, and that was done. So that was very nice being able to get that thing cranked out. But yeah, the biggest thing for me was the price. That I'm definitely going to hone in on, and not and not be selling stuff that expensive. First edition base did get pretty wrecked in here. I sold those two hollows and a non-hollow Raticate. That did not do that well. But yeah, take the one on the chin. It's not too bad. Not bad at all at the percentage I made. So I cannot complain. I'm into these cards for pennies on the dollar because these are all from collections. So I'm lucky there. And even a bunch of these had subgrades because subgrades were cheap when these got graded. So I was excited to see my Kyogres do so well. And I'm going to actually do something real quick here that I didn't plan on doing. I'm going to filter the sale price on this high to low and take a look where my Kyogres fell in relation to some other cards. Like, what did somebody pass up to buy the Kyogre? You know what I mean? So the Kyogre's here at $26 for the Shining Face 9.5. I'll just go ahead and highlight that in orange. So the Kyogre sold at 26 bucks. Just below that, a CGC 8 Jungle Unlimited Pinsir, Kingdra CGC 9 from Gold Silver to a New World Neogenesis, a CGC 9 Wigglytuff First Edition. Actually, a Wigglytuff First Edition PSA 9. This one was not bad. It was a PSA 9, like I said, non-hollow though. Non-hollow. So that card was pretty. And I know the Zapdos. There was a German Zapdos that sold for a pretty decent price. I think it was $60. Yeah, there was a German Zapdos. So, okay. Yeah, no, $40. So, like $14 more. You could have got a first edition German Zapdos in a CGC 6.5. That undersold. That sold to one of my good friends here. And wow, that's crazy. There's just so many different things. There's so much interchanging, all these different types of cards selling for different prices. As you can see, there's PSA and CGC sprinkled all throughout here. If there's any need, if you want a copy of the spreadsheet just so you could do some of your own filtering, I'm going to probably have it linked down in the description for you to download. Appreciate you guys stopping in. You should hit the like button, hit the sub button if you enjoy some of this content. I'll be coming at you all week. As always, live stream Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you guys there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one. Peace.